Shalom, shalom. I would like to begin the lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rahaha Kodash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught myself this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother Rata Zagabar back here with another lesson. Through the spirit, I want to talk about a lesson, an article, that the brother Shaquat sent me. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. Pull out a few precepts through the spirit, and Lord willing, the lesson be edifying to those out there listening and watching. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now concerning. I seen some stuff going on with NATO and Russia. I seen something going on with the U.S. invading Mexico, and amongst other things, the U.S. backing out of Venezuela, and I want to say Germany, having a limited supply of gas with the cold months approaching. So there's just a little something on that. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. This video is, well, the video that I'm doing is protected under Fair Use Copyright Act of 1976. This video is for educational and edification purposes only. I'm not making any money off this video. This video is not monetized in any way, shape, or form. This is only for learning purposes, and Lord willing, the lesson be edifying to those out there listening and watching. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
All right, let's get back to a new report showing happiness in the U.S. is falling at one of the fastest rates in the developed world. CBS News correspondent Lana Zach joining us now. So tell us about this report, Lana.
Juliet, I'm absolutely delighted to be with you, and this time I can hear you. But unfortunately for our country, it just isn't the same level of happiness as it was in years before. Common Good puts out this report every year, and this year they rank the United States.
So I'm going to pause it on this, on what they have on the screen. It says U.S. happiness falling at a fast rate. Sharp decline driven by eroding social bounds, falling optimism, worsening emotional and economic well-being. A lot of that has to go, well, I'll let her say what she says and then double back and give my 2 cents on it.
As 24th in the world in terms of happiness, we ranked 11th just a few years ago in 2012. The steepest decline came in the last 2 years, and the rating overall a D+.
It says U.S. among top 5 loneliest countries studied. 21% report feeling lonely always or almost always. So like it says 62% said the country is too divided to function. And that's a fact. As we, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull this up, man. As I always refer to this kingdom that we're in, as the divided kingdom, man. It's divided in every aspect, women and men. Every aspect, man. The book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 40, it reads, the title is Rome, and it says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. So this is talking about the ancient Roman Empire, because it took the things from the previous empires that are mentioned, the Greek Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, right? It took the things from those empires and basically learned from them so that it could prosper more. It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, this is talking about the revived Roman Empire, which we're in right now. part part of potter's clay and part of iron, right? The kingdom shall be divided. As I always say, man, the kingdom, this kingdom that we're in is divided in all ways. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So there's a strong part of this kingdom, and there's a weaker part of this kingdom. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Right, that goes into nepotism. You see that through the presidency of the United States, and then just kingship as a whole. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Last 2 years, and the rating overall a D+ at risk of failure. Parts of what has contributed to that decline: eroding social bonds, falling optimism, and worsening emotional and economic well-being. The U.S. is among, in fact, the top 5 loneliest countries in the world, according to this survey. 21% of respondents said that they are always or almost always lonely. And part of this is also that political polarization that we have all seen. We've seen it on the air, and we've felt it in our own communities. 62% of Americans said that the country is simply too divided to be able to function effectively.
The country is too divided to function properly. It says, the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 25, it reads, And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And this kingdom is descending to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And we're seeing it unfold in front of our eyes. That's why, you know what I'm saying, myself as those other brothers say, this is the best time to be alive in history, right? Because we're about to see things unfold that have never been seen by any person that has ever been on the face of the earth.
Too divided to be able to.
We're a part of the finale.
We've seen it on the air, and we've felt it in our own communities. 62% of Americans said that the country is simply too divided to be able to function effectively. That is contributing to a greater weariness among neighbors. They don't feel like they can talk or hang out in the same ways that they used to. That feeds into the loneliness, and that feeds into that sharp decline for happiness.
All of these things that are going on in the world and unfolding are in the scriptures as it reads. Book of Ecclesiastes. I'll just go to it. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1. And verse 8, it reads, All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that hath been, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Right? Continuing on, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. right? So the things that's been, this is just like history repeating itself, man. In a sense, it's like history repeating itself. Just like, souls come back down. The same souls are coming back down on the earth. They're just being placed in new bodies, right? That it's the same spirit, it's the same soul, but they go into different homes, so to speak, or different bodies, or different temples or dwelling places. So just as there's things that have been going on for years. And you'd be like, dang, that's new. No, it happened so and so, it happened so and so long ago in previous captivities or previous empires, right? It's not nothing new. It may seem new to us, but it's not new to the earth. It's not new to existence. It might be, modified or enhanced, but in a sense, it's still the same thing. It says, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after, right? And that also goes into, reincarnation. All right, let me get this. Salakia, bear with me. Here we go. Neighbor. This is what I'm looking for, I believe. Zechariah 14:3, 13. Oh, that's talking about the nuclear destruction. That's not what I was talking about. We're just get into this, man. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right? Just talking about more division. Jumping down to verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
We have a lot of room to improve here. So the research does show, and no surprise, social media plays a role. So break down the effects of excessive screen time and how it's impacting younger generations.
Well, absolutely. And it's so interesting that you said younger generations, Juliet, because when it comes to like the actual numbers, and I was having a lot of fun digging into this report earlier today, there is such a tremendous gap generationally. In fact, American seniors, those older than 60, are among the very happiest in the entire world, whereas the people here who are young folks under the age of 30, they are among the very worst in the world. In fact, they rank number 62nd in the entire world in terms of happiness.
I would say some of that is attributed to the fact that the younger generation is more knowledgeable on things going on in the world, and how the government truly treats its citizens, right? You know what I'm saying? With much knowledge increases much sorrow. So that plays a part into it as well. It reminds me of a might be in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? We're more knowledgeable on how the government fucks its people over. That's why you have, over in those other countries and those other lands, you had Gen Z, you know what I'm saying, like people from my generation rising up against the government, right? Standing for what they you know what I'm saying, believed in, and getting these government officials out here. Because how are you living so lavishly? Yes, people out here living on the streets, don't got a penny to their name, and y'all not giving them no type of assistance. All right. Matthew 9 and verse 16, no man putteth a piece of new cloth unto an old garment, for that which is put in to fill it up taketh from the garment, and the rent is made worse. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. The elder Menachos Agba uses this parable or referencing how the older generations, right, if you try and tell them about the truth, for instance, they'll reject it because they're in that old spirit, their old ways. They're basically stuck in their ways. It's because some people think just because they're older than someone else that they have more wisdom or that they know more. Whereas if you're teaching to someone that's younger, it may be easier for them to understand. So that's what the old bottle is representing. That's what I thought about, when she said the fact that older people are more happier. That's because a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them, are ignorant to what's actually going on. And the fact that, for instance, our government is poisoning us on a daily. I just seen an article talking about how they're spreading. Well, I already knew this, but they're spreading. They spreading V's in the air, man. And we know they do that in like the food and stuff like that too, but that's like insane. But for instance, you tell an older person that, they probably won't even believe it.
Yes. And part of that is really about the social media, as you explained, not just that political polarization that I was explaining before, but they found that excessive screen time contributes to additional loneliness as well as anxiety and depression. So,
a lot of that comes from people looking at social media and thinking that is real. Social media actually has had mental effects on people. That's facts.
They say that there are solutions out there, and that is moving from an economic frame set for well-being, because we are a prosperous nation, to one that values community and values connections. And it sounds like maybe we should be spending more time with our seniors and our grandfathers and grandmothers, and that could help make us happier too, Juliet.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to basics and connection. All right, Lana Zach, thank you so much. All right, let's get back to a new report.
Get a few scriptures and then be out of here. Book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 1, it says, He that being often he that being often reproved hardeneth his neck, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. It says, and my point, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth the rule, the people mourn. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. As we always say, another precept, the mirth of the land is gone. Another one that backs this up. Proverbs 11:10, when it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. Because the wicked, they make the people miserable, man. Proverbs 28:12 and 28. Proverbs 28:12 and 28. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. Verse 28. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves. But when they perish, the righteous increase. These are all good. These are all good precepts. And the word languish is just another word for mourn, man. To be weak, to droop, to languish, to be exhausted, to like it, to be exhausted. What I'm saying? A lot of people out here are indeed exhausted. We could read from verse 4, Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The hardy people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. We have wicked rulers. Controlling the earth right now. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Right? And that's a future prophecy. It says, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. As it reads, man, you know what I'm saying? The prophets more continually, roughly paraphrasing, it says, the mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. And Babylon is is known as the land of confusion. It comes from the word Babel, which means confused. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. And I wonder why. You know what that made me think of? Something else. Because the corruption is coming from within. Psalm 55 and verse 9. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I've seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. So it says, for it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me, that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. Right? So really the trouble, you know what I'm saying? They say it's coming from outsiders, but it's really within. Let's get in the NFT, and I'm going to close it off there. Verse 9, confuse them, Lord, and frustrate their plans. For I see violence and conflict in the city. Its walls are patrolled day and night against invaders, but the real danger is wickedness within the city. Everything is falling apart. Threats and cheating are rampant in the streets. It is not an enemy who taunts me. I could bear that. It is not my foes who so arrogantly insult me. I could have hidden from them. Instead, it is you, my equal, my companion, and close friend. All right, and I'm going to stop right there. But you all get my point, Lord willing. So, with that, Lord willing, the lesson was edifying to those out there listening and watching. Call hello, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahaha, Korash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, I say Shalom, Israel. Shalom. And as always, we're one day closer to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Shalom.